Good afternoon from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Ross Johnston. There were a couple big college hoops games last night. Number 5, UConn beat number 17, Florida, 77-73 in the Garden. Number 10, BYU put a nice comeback effort together to beat Clemson 67-64. Freshman phenom A.J. DeBonsa dropped 28, 9, and 6 for the Cougars. In NFL news, the Indianapolis Colts officially signed quarterback Phillip Rivers to the practice squad, and head coach Shane Steichen said that Rivers could start independent of Riley Leonard's status. Leonard is dealing with a knee injury and will be practicing today. The Arizona Cardinals are not bringing back running back Trey Benson from injured reserve this year, which will end his season early. And lastly, the Washington Commanders announced that quarterback Jaden Daniels will be out for Sunday's game against the Giants. Daniels did not re-injure his elbow against Minnesota, but took a hard fall on it, and doctors have advised that he does not play. This all per Adam Schefter. For all your foundation repair, waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once in your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. 615-737-1045 is the number. Should we address?
I was gonna have Ross fake as Adam Schefter, since that was not a true statement that he said. But that will be next week, a week from today.
Yeah.
So.
Next week we should have Schefter. It was not supposed to be today. You can't say anything in this.
Yeah, you can't tell people anything.
You can tell people anything. It's next week, not today.
You guys are worse than high school kids up in here,
I tell you, walk into the studio and Buck, and of course you were on the phone, but then you hung up and you had the radio playing, so you hear Buck say it.
Yeah,
I walk in and Buck goes, oh man, how'd y'all get Schefter today? And I go, well, we didn't for today, so I don't know what you're talking about. He goes, well, I just teased it, and I'm like, no, that's for next week.
That was good though. Everybody tuned in. Now, please do not go anywhere. We do have
got a lot to talk about today.
We got Zach, Blaine, and Ross. So
I got Zach, Blaine, and Ross. Ross, do you have an Adam Schefter impersonation?
I can't. You hear my voice.
Can you impersonate anybody besides Butthead?
I can only do deep voice people.
Yeah.
I can't do Schefter.
Right, that'd be pretty tough.
Yeah, that's not. Blaine could probably do it.
I don't know. I gotta listen to him a couple times to see if I could attempt to do it.
Yeah, I would have to hear it again because now I'm hearing you guys talk, now I'm hearing you. I could probably do it. I'm gonna work on it. I'll try to work to see if I can get a Schefter done by next week.
Don't worry about it.
I was gonna say, did you post your Lego?
Oh no, I need to send that to you.
Okay,
I got into traffic yesterday and I forgot all about it. I'll send that.
Yeah, man, I was looking for the Lego tower.
Okay, so we got some people kind of disrespecting us over the Schefter thing.
Oh.
You know what they're saying? How did y'all get him out of all shows? How did y'all get Adam Schefter? And I said, well, you'll just have to find out on Thursday now. The chat doesn't need to be disrespectful for like that. I mean, hey, at least you're getting them.
Oh,
this is a high-quality football show. No need to be dissing us and everything.
It's that big ratings boost we had last month. That's what that was. Thank you, guys.
Where'd you say we finished?
I don't think we're allowed to talk about that.
Don't talk about it.
Ross, you're already talking about
we don't get any.
Yeah.
No,
I was just wondering where that was.
Yeah.
Hey, look, moral of the story this week, choose your words carefully.
Yeah, choose words carefully is the moral of the story of the week.
Well, I'm always number one. I don't affiliate with nothing but number one.
There you go. I like it. I like it. We're like Cam Ward in that sense. We're never satisfied with just a minor win. Okay.
That's good.
So should we start off with the L'Jarius Sneed stuff, get that out of the way?
Get it out of the way.
So PK.com, PK reported a couple of days ago, I believe is on today's Wednesday, right? So Monday, that the attorneys for the people suing L'Jarius Sneed and the accomplice, Shane Egbal, that's his name. Maybe Egbal?
I thought you were joking, man.
Yeah, I mean, Eghbal. I mean, you shouldn't have. This is the worst. I will say this about our show. This is the worst show to have a weird spelled name because I mean Eghbal, Egbal.
We can't pronounce anything on this show.
Cannot. But it's been put, the civil trial will be pushed back from its scheduled March 17th date for L'Jarius Sneed. The Sneed's attorney, Michael Todd, which is a much easier name to say, has provided incomplete discovery and been difficult to reach, and showed examples of text that the defense attorney, Michael Todd, had shared that offered no context about who Sneed was texting with. So it's like, I thought that PK, because it's the main image of the article, and it just looks like a random conversation. I'm like, did he just pull a random conversation from like the internet or AI or something? But apparently that's part of the discovery. Oh, wow. Todd who is the defense attorney for L'Jarius Sneed, will be required to provide what Eggball seeks and to make clear what everything is using Bates numbering and a legal cataloging system. Bates numbering is a specific kind of numbering system. They quote, "It's called discovery. They're entitled to it. It may not be relevant, but they're entitled to it. Eggball seeks Sneed's exchanges about the incident with all relevant third parties and has made 17 requests of tangible things related to the case, like documents." Todd said that the list includes the Titans' current GM, Mike Berganzi, president, which could mean either Burke Nihill or Chad Brinker, according to PK, was not specified, his old coach, Brian Callahan, and Chick Igiasi, the team's director of player engagement, as well as others not associated with the team. This sounds like they're hoping to find something in the text. They're not for sure that there is something in any text. But I just want to say that if anybody from the Tennessee Titans staff is texting about this situation, this seems like phone call only kind of stuff.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't have been texting. Now, there could be a possibility, that they kept calling him or he kept calling them, and then all of a sudden somebody just said, "I'll just text."
Yeah.
They couldn't get in touch with one another. You hope that didn't happen. Not about
please call us. You up? Please call.
Yeah.
I know this is a serious situation, so I shouldn't be laughing, but Eggball,
the name,
yeah, that can't be right.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm just saying, this. We kind of knew when this was going down just a couple months ago.
You said it was really serious, and I thought, I don't know. I think he may be able to squeeze, not knowing the laws there in Texas, by the way. And, man, this one here, I don't know. If they can conveniently just slide up out of there.
Yeah.
Well, now, he's not going to play the rest of the season, so when they, get him cut here or there, it doesn't really matter at this point.
Right. I mean, that's the thing. What it really comes down to, can something be done before they are forced to cut him from the league office where they can get money back from his contract? Because that's really that's really where we're at with L'Jarius Sneed. We shouldn't expect L'Jarius Sneed to play in a Titans uniform again. I mean, I know there's 4 games, but I doubt he's coming back. We shouldn't expect him to be on the team next year. So they're going to eventually cut him to save not only cap space but the cash. But the real thing is can they get money back if the NFL suspends them or finds them in violation? That is the key. That is what you're really hoping for if you're a Tennessee Titans fan at this point, is that you can get already paid money or already money guaranteed, future guarantees back and not have to pay him those future guarantees.
Is there an example where someone, let's say a year and a half, 2 years later, was no longer with the team and they went back and got money?
I don't think so.
That's why I say I don't know.
I'd have to really dig deep on that one.
I don't know if that's ever really happened, to be honest. I don't recall, or maybe one incident, but man, I don't know.
Yeah.
Because once he's convicted, they can say, well, now the process is over. He's no longer with our team.
Because you don't know how long this is going to take either.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. Because once you cut him, I would assume you can't get any of the money back unless that money's still in the account, right? Unless you still hold on to the money. But I would assume that once you cut him, it doesn't matter. But I do not know that rule. Yeah. But I mean, at this point, that's what you need to hope for if you're a Titans fan, is that your organization is able to recoup some of the money, either A, already paid to him, B, that you're going to still have to pay to him because of his fully guaranteed contract number, or C, both.
So has he already gotten all his guaranteed money?
Well, see, that's something that we never really know because people could put stuff in escrow and you could pay as you go, like his base salaries that are fully guaranteed and stuff like that. We don't know if they've truly paid the full signing bonus up front. That's typical.
No, if it said signing bonus, he got it all up front.
Yeah, typically that's true. But I've read that in some cases, like apparently Deshaun Watson, they didn't have to pay all of his fully guaranteed money and all that kind of stuff.
That's a way bigger number.
Well, that's true. That's true.
It's a way bigger number.
I'm just not working. I'm working on the assumption that I do not know. I'm making an assumption
that he got all his money. If the NFL decides to suspend him, it will probably go, and that means he's convicted, and that means then it will go into next year, and then he would be suspended. So I would, if I put 90% that the Titans won't be able to get any money back.
I got your answer right here because they did something that's a little different than most of the contracts they do.
Okay.
His fully guaranteed money is his signing bonus, his 2024 base salary and compensation, and his 2025 salary and compensation. So they could only be able to maybe get money back from his base salary if something were to come down in these next 4 weeks, I feel like. I don't know how far back you can go, if you can go and recoup or whatever. But
that's what I'm asking.
Yeah,
you're talking about things that have never happened. Like nobody can go recoup if he doesn't get convicted. And then also
that's what I'm saying.
The NFL should have suspended him. Now that would help them out a lot.
That's what we're waiting on is maybe a suspension which
is not going to happen in the next 4 weeks.
The only other thing is that
maybe
because his $7.5 million of the 2026 salary fully guarantees the 5th day of the league year, and that's not going to happen.
No, they're going to cut him.
Yeah, they're going to cut him. So I don't think there's at this point in the game, to your point, I don't know if there's any money left to get.
Right, I think
you're...
If I was guessing.
Yeah, I would say that there's probably not.
Yeah. But he probably wouldn't have it. He'd be suspended going into next season if...
Yeah.
I don't know when the court dates are and all that, but I'm assuming it'll be past this 4 week slate here that they got going on, and when he will no longer be a Titan. And then, going to the season, kind of like when what's the guy from the Chiefs got convicted, then he missed the first 6 games, the receiver there, Rice.
Rashee Rice, yeah.
See? Mm-hmm. It didn't happen until after.
Right.
See? Boom. So I don't recall anybody ever going back.
Yeah, I can't think of anybody ever going back or any situation like that. Doesn't mean that maybe we're not missing it, but I mean, I can't remember if anybody going back. Yeah, too little, too late, I guess, at this point of the season. I thought there was more guaranteed money, future guaranteed money in 2026, but turns out they put it all in the first 2 years mainly.
Yeah, it was a 4-year deal, so typically players get their signing bonus within its structure within those first 2 years. Because guess why that is? It's because you're probably guaranteed to be on the team the first 2 years of the deal. And then typically, a guy of his ilk usually makes it 3 or 4 years and gets the full contract. So that's why they call that front loading of the contract when you're a player like that, getting that kind of money. So,
because I always get that question of a lot of people like, well, why don't they put the fully guaranteed money towards the end of the contract? That's because players wouldn't sign the contract. You're not guaranteed to be on the team. That's why that's why typically
NBA, NHL, and baseball, where you're going to get the entire contract. In the NFL, you're not guaranteed.
Those first 2 1 year, depending on what you sell or what you sign.
Contract. So once you're cut, your pay stops immediately.
Yep.
So that's kind of how it works.
There you go. All right, coming up next, we'll talk more about the Tennessee Titans QB1. We'll also hear from Cam Ward at 1:45 today. Fingers crossed that he's up at the podium on time. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone.
Well, recently I went to Edge Peptide Therapy for an issue with my shoulder, and everybody knows, I was banging on a lot of guys out there, and my shoulder was having some, I was hitting guys. That's what that meant there, Zach. But I was having some motion issues, stiffness in the morning, at night, couldn't sleep on that side of the bed. It was just nagging me. And guess what? They said, we can help you out. And what they helped me out with was BPC 157, which supports muscle, tendon, and ligament repair with no needles, no downtime, and no hassle. And I'm feeling the results of that for sure. And now I'm not achy, and I'm waking up getting a good night's sleep and in a good mood. Yes, that's what Ross told me too as well. And so I'm feeling a lot better, can go to the gym, have motion, and continue to, lift a little bit of weight. So if you're in that situation, you need to check out Edge Peptide. Their approach to weight loss also can benefit you as well. They have hormone therapy that's a little bit different than most. They can make sure that the patients have extensive lab work, face-to-face conversations in office with the nurse practitioner to create a customized treatment plan tailored to your specific needs. As well as Edge always uses a low effective dosage to make sure that you are resetting your metabolic flexibility, not starving yourself, as a lot of people try to do. Get to lower your A1C and keep your cravings in check, prioritizing your protein and having someone guide your journey from start to finish. And all you have to do is call the team at Edge Peptide at, edgepeptide.com, of course. Yes, that's edgepeptide.com at 724-1878. That's 724-1878.
Let's face it, buying a vehicle should be straightforward and stress-free, and that's exactly how Two Rivers Ford has been doing business for decades. This locally owned dealership has a non-commissioned sales team whose only focus is to find you the right vehicle at the right price without the pressure. So you'll actually have a fun car buying experience. Great prices, easy financing, and a non-commissioned sales team. Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer.
I'll be home for Christmas. You can count for Christmas, if only in my dreams.
Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone, powered by all Four Seasons Garage Doors. 615-737-1045 is the number. We got Cam Ward coming up at 1:45 p.m. We'll carry that at St. Thomas Sports Park because I'm sure he's going to get, well, maybe, but I'm sure he's going to get asked about his comments that have kind of gone a little too far at this point.
What was that?
Well, not his comments. I guess the conversations around his comments have gone far about him not being too excited about a win. Oh. You know, we talked about it on Monday, and I figured after then that it would kind of die off and nobody would be talking about it. And then other stories pop up, and then now you got Mike McCoy being asked about it today, and he said, yeah, we talked. You know, he's just got to burn, you know, he said his usual phrase, like you could do a drinking game off burning desire to be great when Mike McCoy's up at the podium talking about Cam Ward. And I feel like people are kind of taking this in a weird direction. And it's like, because I guess as some people have put it, well, he's been talking about just win. All you need is win. Now that you got to win, he's not really, I guess, quote unquote, enjoying it. And for me, it's just about, I feel like he's trying to set a high standard for himself. And I like that. And that's what we kind of talked about on Monday, how much we kind of get it, understand it, and don't think it's that big of a deal.
I don't know who is saying what. I mean, if anybody has played elite level sports, I'm talking about college or pro, I think they would completely understand and know that it's not an issue. And I think this is the disconnect between media and the actual athlete and what he's actually trying to say and what they think is right, because they haven't probably been in that kind of situation. So I didn't take it that way. So I don't feel like I'd have to address something that is not true.
Right.
Like, so that for me, that's, you know, if you played elite level college sports and pro sports, you would know you should never be satisfied. Ever. There was not a game I was ever satisfied. So I use my say. So I don't know how you expect to push yourself. You know, you're going to talk about all different generations and what are tough. You know, the generation before me was tougher than our generation, and then, you know, how that all conversation goes. But I think this guy has his mindset right where it needs to be. Now, him expressing that immediately could be up for debate, and where he should have, you know, talked a little differently. Maybe could have, with little choice words, a little bit different, and chose his words different. But yeah, I have no problem with it. So
let's. So Mike McCoy was asked about it today at his press conference earlier. Here's the full exchange with Mike McCoy.
Said every day about Cam, since we've talked together, is he wants to be great. He has a burning desire to be great. He wants to play his best game every week, and that's just the way he is. He's a competitor, and he wants to go out there and do his job at a very high level, play at a very high level week in and week out. So that's what you love about him.
Did you have any conversation with him about not being excited enough after the win?
I've talked to him.
How did he take the feedback?
Oh, he's great. He wants to be. That's the great thing about Cam. You can sit down with Cam, regardless of the tougher conversations, the good conversations. He wants to be coached hard, and I think part of my job is to help him, not just in everything. of being an NFL quarterback, not just on the field, off the field, how you prepare and all those things. And I think we've had some great conversations the past couple of weeks, and that's what I love doing with young players, is just kind of helping them and just giving them some advice. But I want the guys to be themselves also. So that's the great thing about Cam. He's a true competitor. He wants to be great. So
I'm curious, what issue did you have with that made you want to speak to him about this?
Well, Cam and I, we talk about a lot of things. So on a weekly basis, him and I sit down and talk about a wide variety of things. Whether it's the game, like what you're asking about, talk to him about that, things like that. So plenty of conversations we have.
I mean, I guess I just am failing to understand how we got to a point over the last 2 years where we saw them get too happy and too emotional about wins and then have big letdown games. And we're getting to a point now where a win, just one win, isn't good enough, and that's an issue. It's like they're trying to go. I'm not saying they're trying to make Cam Ward. Some people are trying to make Cam Ward out to be a villain, because that's not really what it is. But it's like, I go back to the "we asked" comments. You may not like how it was delivered, but it's true. And I go to this one. You may not like how it's delivered, but it's true. And I think this is how Cam Ward delivers stuff. And we, as a media and a fan base, may need to adjust to his bluntness, because he's just being honest and how he feels in a moment. And pretty soon he's not going to be honest with how he feels in a moment. He's just going to give you candid answers, and then everybody's going to complain about that.
Yeah, I think he's been true to himself, and he's been authentic. I think you're right on it. So I think, I think he's setting the standard for this team, being a leader in this isn't good enough, even though we win. And it shouldn't be a big old celebration. We are 2 and whatever. So we can get happy for a split second, and then, hey, you need to think about, why did we win? Why can't we duplicate it? And why can't you play better? So people don't want to hear the real facts of how pro sports is. Guess when you can celebrate wins? When the season's freaking over and you're in the final game.
Right.
That's it. Everything else is a failure. That's how it is. So I don't know. Everybody wants a freaking cookie because they won a game. That's what he's telling them.
Well, and that's
basically, hey, yeah, we won, but guess what? We still need to play better. I need to play better. Nothing changed. You want your quarterback to be steady like that. So I don't get it. It's a little frustrating to think now with social media, people questioning, he's not enjoying a win. I'm sure he enjoyed it in his own way.
Right.
With the elite dudes, no, man, that's not how I roll. Guess what? Whenever you saw Michael Jordan, all the great players of all time in any sport, you saw them at the end when they won the championship. Then they were celebrating.
Yeah. That's my thing, is like,
especially when you're not winning games,
right?
Where you're sitting where they sit. Well, let's jump for joy. We won 2 games. We're 2-0, whatever, 11. What are they? I don't even know.
Yeah, 2-11.
Yeah, that's just nah.
Well, you remember everybody bashed him last year for celebrating after the Texans game and an emotional win, and then they had Amy Adams Strunk in there, and everybody's bashing him for that because it's in the middle of a bad season. Now you're turning around and bashing him for just being one guy, for just being honest and trying to hold everybody else up to a better standard. This is exactly, I'll tell you what. This is exactly why I wanted to hear after a win. Because you know what usually happens to this team? They get so high, and then they give us a letdown, and we're all let down. And maybe the way that Cam Ward is presenting this and going about his business and sending a message is really what this team needs. They've been way too relaxed. They need to buckle up and get forward. And I think every player should be supporting them out in the public. I think every coach should be supporting and say, hey, we're 2-11. Of course, this win is nice, but we still got work to do because we've never done it consistently. They haven't won 2 back-to-back games since when? 2022? Yeah. You need this kind of mentality that, hey, 1 win in a 2-11 season is not good enough, because this season is not good enough by and large.
Yeah, that shows he cares, actually. So I kind of take it in a totally different manner, and so it's just unfortunate. That's just the way it's going to go. I don't think it's bothering him at all, though.
No.
So I don't, maybe a little irritant to McCoy, or maybe some of the guys keep asking the same question about it. But because
I'm sure he's going to be asked about it today at 1:45. And then we'll hear it. But, I mean, I'm sure he's going to get asked about it today, and I think it's ridiculous.
What do you think, Ross? We got the level-headed guy behind the glass.
Well, first I was going to say we got some brief sports news. Not anything big enough to be worthy of the sound. Not worthy of the sound. But Adam Schefter just reported that NFL teams are going to have only 8 minutes to draft players starting this coming year in Pittsburgh, as opposed to the 10-minute clock. So not a big deal. But for the product of the draft,
that was starting the whole day, though.
Exactly. Which the product, especially that first round, because they'd be taking forever.
Yes.
Well, it's been finishing on average at 11:45 p.m. Eastern time. So 10:45 p.m. our time. Just one round. Yeah. Because even the first round picks, the people that know that what they're doing, take the full 10 minutes, which is utterly ridiculous.
I think we used all 10 minutes for Cam.
I think you're correct.
But yeah, as far as the topic y'all are discussing, I'm with you, Blaine, and with you, Zach. I got no problem of him not, jumping for joy over this win. I wouldn't want him to be so rigid that he, has no appreciation for it, because it is hard to win in the National Football League.
Well said.
But yes, I love him keeping the standard. Yes, we want to win, and what has gone on this season is not good enough. Yes, let's enjoy this win, 24-hour rule, whatever. But as soon as that ends, we, move on to San Francisco and keep it rolling. Let's try to stack another win.
Time to get back to work. I mean, that's kind of how I took it.
That's how I took it.
It's time to get back to work. And I don't think it needs to be as big of a deal as it's been kind of made out to be. And I think I think there's a difference, I guess I need to specify this. I think the majority of fans and the majority of people understand where Cam Ward's coming from. It's a vocal minority of people that are kind of blowing this thing out of proportion. But this is who he's been, right? I mean, you watch the Tubi documentary. This is how he is. This is how he was at college. This is how he was in this pre-draft process when he tells Shadur Sanders, I'm not going to do the rap video with you. I want to be known as a football player. This is what and I'm not saying no other players in the last 5 years have not been like this for the team.
It's important to him.
But this is what a football player looks like, and I don't know if the people are really understanding that this is what you want your quarterback to be. May not translate to on-field production necessarily, but at least you know that he is taking this crap seriously no matter what, and he wants to win, and he wants to be the best. That drive. Can't coach that kind of drive.
No, that's a 1-2 by the individual, and you actually want a whole bunch of players like him on the team. So yeah, and you also want that jokey guy too.
Yeah,
to loosen things up when need be. So
need all kinds of different people to make the team work.
I just don't get either how fans who, and I'm not saying this is every fan, but the majority of fans of this team who have complained all season, and rightfully so, but they've complained all season, and now they're upset. After a win for some reason, you know what I mean? They've complained all season, and now they're upset at Cam for not being happy that they're 2-11 now. How does that make any sense?
That's why I said he may, choose his words a little bit differently, but other than that, his message was clear to me. I mean, but that's why I'm saying I just think the language athletes speak compared to the normal Joe guy is just different. So I think that's where the disconnect is. I think that he didn't do anything, in my opinion, wrong.
Right.
But I can see how some people would view that as a normal, non-athletic covering. I mean, people should know this by now. If you've been covering now, we have social media. So now we have people who are not, are not media members, but are part of media just because of social media.
Yeah, fanalist is what I call them.
Fanalist. Oh, I love that. So they're giving their opinions. They're entitled. Everybody's entitled to opinion, and they become the minority, but their voice is the loudest, and it just starts bringing doubt all over the place. And especially if it gets to national media and they're talking about it. I know it was on, with the Ocho Cinco.
Yeah, which is just wild.
They just said, he needs to, choose his words better. I mean, and that was it. But it was brought up. See?
Yeah. That is crazy. 615-737-1045 if you guys want to call in and give your opinion on that. Of course, we'll hear from Cam Ward here in just a few minutes. I'm sure we'll hear more about that. But we'd love to hear your opinions on Cam, because for me, because we're going to be talking about the deep passing there's a lot to work on with Cam Ward on the field, but a good base level of how he's been able to handle himself, his approach to the game, his approach to his preparation does speak volumes and should give you at least some hope that he can at least turn into, at the very least, an average quarterback. So, I mean, he may not be worth the number one overall pick, but he may at the very least be an average quarterback. But this is what you really want. I mean, for me, this kind of attitude and approach is what you want.
And like, if you're someone who thinks he wasn't happy at all, he just played Shedeur Sanders. I know Shedeur outplayed him a little bit, but Cam's team won. He's probably pretty happy about that, whether he says it or not. Like, that makes him feel good to beat, the buddy he trained with all offseason and one of his good friends.
Hopefully it'll be a long-time matchup, and he's got the leg up. 1-0, baby.
Yeah, 1-0. That's the start of it. Because, I guess they're both going to finish last in their division. So that means that they will likely see each other next year, too.
Are we a quarterback win show now?
What was that?
Are we a quarterback wins show now?
Well, it's just, we're not giving it all to Cam Ward. We're just saying that the team is at least 1-0. The team's 1-0 versus Cleveland right now with both quarterbacks starting. They'll see each other next year. So there you go. It'll be maybe we can actually have like a little bit of rivalry there with the Cleveland Browns and Shedeur Sanders and Cam Ward, and give a little bit extra weight to that game, because normally those games have been pretty boring, except for this past game. Pretty exciting, pretty insane and crazy on that. Okay, 615-737-1045 is the number. I will say this. I think we need to understand, though, as much as we just heaped a lot of praise on Cam Ward, there are some things to his game he needs to clean up. And I think everybody needs to start being a little bit more honest about those things. Not necessarily saying that he's a bust, or B, that he stinks, or C, that they need to draft another quarterback in this draft. Just saying we got to be honest about what we're seeing on tape. And one of those things is his deep throw. And he had inaccuracy issues to a certain degree, because some of it could be drops, right? Like drops on deep balls and stuff like that, even if he puts them in the bucket, of throwing outside the numbers. He's kind of having that problem here, but I don't know if it's necessarily footwork as much as it is upper body work. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I'm not really a quarterback guru.
Yeah.
So here's what I would say. Early in the season, he had no issues throwing outside the numbers.
I know.
I remember Alec making the one-hand grab against the Broncos. And, it was like, oh, man, he's threw him open. And so I don't know, as the season's gone along, maybe he's just kind of lost touch on that a little bit. Sometimes that could happen. Maybe you get lazy in sometime in your footwork, your upper mechanics. But his mechanics are a little different because he throws, somewhat the sidearm deal. So it's hard to evaluate, like, what way he should and shouldn't be and what's really the issue. I think you better be very, very careful if you're trying to change a player's mechanics.
Agree.
So you better be, careful on that, because he's thrown this way their entire time. So do you make some minor tweaks to it? Yes.
Kind of like a golf swing.
Yes, exactly. So you're not overhauling your whole swing. That would literally take an entire year, and that means no season. To change your throwing motion. It's funny, Phillip Rivers signed, and he had a weird throwing motion, and I never liked it. And it was effective, man. It was great.
It's like a jump shot.
Yeah, it was really weird. Yeah, it was a putt shot. I don't know where, but it got where it needed to go. And that's really kind of how I look at things. If you've been doing something for a really long time, maybe you need to make sure you got your footwork right now that you're in the league, playing better players, trying to get the ball out quicker and everything else. But I don't know about trying to change someone's throwing motion. Yeah. I think you're barking up a really tree that you really don't, because now he's going to be thinking about the throw. And I don't care what anybody says. You can do all you want in the offseason, and then you come back and you start seeing these bullets coming at you. You go right back to who you were, and you start throwing like that again. So I don't know about that one there, man.
It's gonna be interesting to see. We'll talk more about that. We'll also hear from Cam Ward. We'll also go to your phone, 615-737-1045. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone.
hockey. Around here, it can sound like a language of its own. But hey, if you can pronounce Demumbrian, then names like Yossi, Shea, and Marchessault will roll right off the tongue. Nashville Predators, only in Smashville.
One of the largest sports books east of the Mississippi, Circa Sports Kentucky, is now open. Catch all your favorite games on an 80-foot screen with stadium-style seating and live VSiN broadcast daily. Circa Sports, now open at the Mint Gaming Hall, Kentucky Downs.
My dad and I used to golf together all the time, but when he hurt his back, it was over.
To have your son want to spend time with you is amazing. That's why my chronic back pain has been so heartbreaking. Surgery, fused bones, long recovery. No way, not for me. A friend recommended stem cells, so I gave Kellum Stem Cell Institute a call.
I'm glad you're out on the course.
Yeah, it's really good.
Call the Kellum Stem Cell Institute today. Swing still looks just okay though.
Selling your home can be stressful, but it doesn't have to be. Get a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate. There are no showings, no open houses, no stress. Work with the #1 real estate team in the U.S. and close with confidence. Go to markspain.com today.
Can you kind of expand on what you meant?
I mean, winning and losing, they both got a price. They both got a price to pay. It just depends on which one you want to be a part of.
But you've talked consistently about how much winning means to you. Why Sunday did you seem not to feel differently than you felt after all the failed games?
Because there's a way to win games. There's a way to finish out games. There's a standard that you got to play with every game to give yourself the best, situation to win. But the biggest thing, you got to expect to win every time you step on the field.
Did you feel like the team didn't play?
Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 105 The Zone, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Store. We go to Cam Ward, who's at St. Thomas Sports Park.
And we're sloppy. Offensively, I was sloppy myself, and then defensively, so we just got to continue to emphasize the good, and we got to be real critical on the bad.
Did any of that, like you saying that you didn't really need it or anything like that, did any of that like have to do with you just trying to remain balanced regardless of the outcome and always looking for it?
No, it's just how I saw it. It's how I played out. And we just got to continue to, be better. We getting better each and every day, no matter whether it's a full speed rep or a jaw through rep. Like mentally, we getting better. We just got to apply it on the field.
And looking back on that, would you have said the same thing, or do you regret it all? Any of that?
Never regret it.
What made you feel in the moment that it wasn't good enough? You hadn't watched the tape yet, so when you were in those feelings, what was kind of leading you to that conclusion?
Just playing the game. Looking at the iPad during the game, you see just little things that I got to be better on than just us as a whole on offense, and especially in the fourth quarter, it just wasn't our best ability of football from everybody. That's just what we got to continue to build on and get better at.
What do you see sort of your one or two aspects of your game that you like most right now? Tell me about your game.
I think just the willingness to stay in the pocket and win the pocket. That's something I continue got to grow on. And then I think just I'm getting better just operation in and out of huddle. Then I just think we got to continue to get better. Continue to do stuff that we're good at. As receiver core and a quarterback, do stuff that we're all comfortable with.
You say, like Corey said this morning, that he's worked a lot with you in footwork and he's seen you change a little bit, even in the past several weeks. What have you noticed on the footwork front, and what impact does it have, do you think, on your
just getting real better, more cleaner, getting the ball out faster, then better accuracy.
You seem to show pretty even-keeled demeanor, especially when you talk with us and all, but then when we talk about the mistakes and how things have to be better on your part, do you beat yourself up at times mentally over mistakes that you made in the game?
Yeah. If you want to be a good player, you can't be satisfied with doing bad things. You got to be, want to be able to be a great player each and every play. And no matter how good the quarterback is or how bad, he's always going to have a bad play at some point within the game, whether it's a bad read, bad pass, or something. But the more you can limit it, the better position you put your teammates in.
It's a team philosophy to work on speed throughout the season, and that you do it at least once a week that we can see. Do you feel like you've made some personal speed gains in the course of the season?
Oh, yeah. I think our strength staff, does a wonderful job getting us right. And it's hard to, maintain the level of training throughout the season just because it changes from off-season and in-season, but I think we do a great job here.
You're aware of your numbers during the season? Are you interested in that when they tell you your miles per hour or any of that stuff?
Yeah, John Shaw, he tells me every week, especially on scramble drills, what I got to, just if I got to get out better or what my numbers are. So we do a good job keeping up with mine.
Impressed by them or surprised by them? Or
not surprised, just more trying to be consistent.
Seems like in weeks past you guys were taking a step forward and then 2 steps back. What maybe feels different this week that might not be the case moving forward?
It's really more just about trying to take steps forward. And I think just the more, if you take a step forward and you go backward, you really stay in the same spot. So, our goal this week is to win a game, try to get on a little win streak. So the more we win, I think the more steps we'll take forward.
To that point, it's been since 2023 since the Titans have won back-to-back games. Obviously, that predates you. But what kind of stands out about San Francisco's game planning for that?
I think real, commutative on the defense side of the ball. I think the past couple 5 games, those guys, they really started to play better, knowing each other better, especially with the injuries, that they had. And I think they just do a good job of just rallying. They bend sometimes, but they never break. So you just got to continue to, try to find a way to get explosives on them, put the ball in play, and then how your teammates, do whatever you need to do to win the game.
It seemed like last week the shot clock was a little bit quicker, obviously with Myles Garrett. Obviously the 49ers, they don't have the same pass rush, but is it going to be like you want to have it quick this week, against a team that rushes the pass with so much man defense, is obviously going to give you a chance to run?
It really just depends on how, the pocket ends up, depending on the concept, the progression, the protection I'm in, if I have enough time to hang on to the ball. But, having, a person like Myles Garrett, one week. Then, I think with 49ers, I think they're just a good defensive front. Every front has its challenges. So, by the time the game comes, how I see the pocket on film, just be able to make some adjustments.
Memories maybe of watching Phillip Rivers when you were a kid, and how shocking is it to see him, signing back in the league at 43 years old?
I really didn't watch Phillip growing up, but it is exciting to, see him come back out there. Now I finally get a chance to, watch him, see what he can do, especially at his age. I know he's gonna ball. If he do ball, that means I can play, the same age he is.
You see yourself playing at 44?
God puts me in that position, I'm gonna try to.
What have you seen out of Corey Levin since he's moved into the lineup at center that he's done so well? It seems to have kind of opened up the run game a little bit.
I just think his emphasis on, the little things. Every rep is full speed for Corey. And then with Coach going out, Corey's the perfect backup to step in, take control, the offensive line with the mic points. And, he's been, a real blessing for us. He's not a huge rah-rah guy. When Corey speaks, everyone listen. And, he's always ready for his number to be called. So, we got a good one in Corey. We need to make sure he's here with us.
What can you do to get more consistent, you and your receivers together, just hitting those deep balls? You like to throw those. I told him a couple times. How can you get better? Okay, Trey, you gotta chill out, man. Why you think you got
Rich just got to be more accurate with the football, throw it in their radius, and give him a chance to make a play on the ball.
Is that something, are you guys repping that a lot out here?
Yep, repping it between individuals if we need it. If not, ROA, and then just in the team segments.
Does it get frustrating? No, you want to do that, but you're not able to do it as much?
Not really. It just depends on where the play call is. And then, when we get the opportunity, we got to hit on it.
Kyle Brennan, I guess, recognize you for angry run or for shaking the defender off on Sunday. What was that play like in your mind as kind of all played out? Did anybody kind of brought that to your attention? You throwing the defender off of you?
Just try not to take a sack on, moving play. Just stay above the sticks.
Appreciate you, Cam. Thank you.
All right, that was Cam Ward up at the podium. A few interesting things. Wasn't that big of a thing, but we do have, because we came in a little late, we do have the very first question, and we'll play that when we come back, because that was about, of course, the winning mentality and his mentality that we just spent the last segment talking about. All right, we'll do that coming up next. We'll also go to Ed in Jersey, 615-737-1045. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 1045 The Zone.
One of the marks of a good parent, they warn their kids about danger and who to trust and what to avoid and how to make smarter choices. Hey, folks, it's Blaine Bishop here with Eurofix. And Eurofix repairs European vehicles, and Eurofix believes in warning their customers, too. In one case, Eurofix wrote a $5,000 refund check to a customer. You say, who does that? And Eurofix polices themselves. Why? Because not every auto shop tells you the full story. Some oversell, others cut corners. Some just may not know what to do. So you could pay for something you never needed to pay for. And Eurofix makes sure you don't. And Eurofix makes quality repairs at below dealer pricing since 1999. They get a free 15-minute no-wrench inspection and a 3-year, 36,000-mile nationwide warranty on all the work Eurofix performs. And rental cars are available with every appointment. So stay on the road or stay off the tow truck. What do you want to do? I want to stay off the tow truck, right? So they make sure that you do. Family-owned, locally for over a quarter century. 5 locations all over the state of Tennessee. And all you have to do is just give them a call at 844-EUROFIX. That's right, 844-EUROFIX, or online at myEurofix.com. That's myEurofix.com.
Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone, powered by all Four Seasons Garage Doors. 615-737-1045 is the number. We're broadcasting live from the 104.5 The Zone Circa Sports Studio, Kentucky's largest sports book, can now be found at Circa Sports at Kentucky Downs. And let's go to the phones. Ed's been waiting patiently, and he's up in Jersey. Ed in Jersey, you're on with Blaine and Zach.
Jersey City, Jersey.
Hey, guys. So I agree with your point. I have zero problem with what he said. My bigger problem is that the head coach or coaches, I would hope, not the front office, were compelled to speak with him about it. That, to me, just speaks to how bad the original Callahan hire and this whole regime is. I mean, if you're not going to set a bar that Cam Ward, your own quarterback, is setting and your coaching staff can't match it, I think that's a big problem. And there's an expression that Callahan always used and McCoy uses it too, where they say, well, winning is so hard in this league. Well, I'm okay if a coach uses that if you're a good team and you've got wins stacked up and maybe you played a game where you won but you didn't play well. So a coach goes up and says, well, winning is tough in this league. We'll correct. We'll move on to the next week. But when you keep on using that expression, when you've got 2 wins, to me, it's almost used as an excuse. All it's saying is it's tough for us to win. Why? Because have you not inculcated that right attitude, that right culture in the club? I mean, I get they need talent, but to me, the quarterback is setting the precedent of what type of new head coach you need, and I hope they can match Ward's attitude with the next head coach. That's my thought.
There you go, Ed.
Good job,
They appreciate it. Yeah. Wow. What do you think about that, about the coaches kind? I don't know if they've really necessarily disagreed with Cam, but I guess, I mean, the way Mike McCoy kind of phrased it earlier today was that they always meet with Cam and they always talk about everything that's going on. He never really said that he disagreed with it or there was a separate discussion. I can't remember what Brian Callahan specifically said about the "we asked" comments. I'm not going to really talk about that. But I do think that, I mean, I don't know if Mike McCoy necessarily disagreed with anything. I don't think it really came off that way because they talk about everything. And I think that's just normal between quarterback and head coach. But I can understand why someone may interpret it that way.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I don't know. Did you think McCoy kind of disagree with that, or he was just kind of massaging it? But he said we talk all the time. I mean, every Monday. So I don't know if he was trying to soft play it after he said that or what. But yeah, I don't have any problem with him.
Ross, he was asking you.
Yeah, I don't know. He just gave some kind of head coach answer. I feel like he just tried to dance around it.
That's what you hear from McCoy every
day. Yeah. Which, like, he doesn't really give you much, and understandably so. Also, I mean, Cam's obviously going to do his own thing, but if I'm Cam, I'm being like, dude, you ain't going to be with me. Like, appreciate the advice, but this is my team, not yours, so.
McCoy's interim.
Right.
And I'm not saying like he should say that to him, obviously, but in my head, I'm like, you
just say it, Ross.
Yeah, he should say that. He should
I'll say that.
You ain't going to be here next year anyway, Mike.
I think fans would like that if he said it, but he should not say it.
He definitely should not say that. He can think it, but he definitely shouldn't say it. But I also don't necessarily think that, I mean, behind closed doors, we don't know what anybody says. But I didn't get it from at least the words out front that he was necessarily perturbed by it or annoyed by it or anything. He kind of laughed and shrugged it off when TD asked the question of did you talk to him about being excited for the win? He just kind of laughed and said, yeah, I talked to him. But it wasn't anything like, I don't think he felt compelled to talk to him. It's just part of their regular routine.
Yeah. What did you think about when he's saying, I took it as the caller saying that is more or less babying the team in that he's saying, well, the wins are hard to come by. I actually completely agree with the statement of you can say that every week. If you're winning, then all of a sudden you lose a couple games.
Yeah.
So what was your view on that?
Ooh, I don't know if necessarily that makes me think they're babying the team, but I do think that they have had over the last year and a half, there has been some coddling. And I think that's why Cam Ward is in such stark contrast and under he's also the quarterback, but I think that's why his words seem so stark to the message that we've been conditioned to understand. And I do think that there is a level of coddling. I'm going to say coddling. I want to say soft, but I'll say coddling. I don't know if coddling's better, but you know what I'm saying? I feel there is a level of it.
Almost like he's trying to keep upbeat and positive so his team doesn't stop playing for themselves, for him and all of that. And that's kind of where I think he's coming from, because if he's stark, and harsh in the meeting, in pressers, then, guys are like, man, forget him. And then they start, kind of playing as individuals.
Because you've said it numerous times that, we've heard a couple of players, say it too, that the Brian Callahan, and I'm sure that's the same way for Mike McCoy, but the Brian Callahan that you see in the media is not the Brian Callahan you're going to get behind closed doors.
Right.
So, I don't want to say.
Or McCoy.
Yeah, or McCoy. We don't know what he's like. So I would just say that I think losing makes everything feel coddling and everything, but I do agree now that he kind of said it. I'm kind of thinking back and saying, okay, is that the right message to say enjoy the win because it's hard to win? Is that the right message? I don't know if that really parlayed into anything that I just said, but to your original question, I do wonder if that's the wrong message to be sending.
Hey, man, a win is a win. They're hard to come by now. That is a true statement. I just don't know if I'm like the caller. I don't know if I'd be saying that week in and week out after we continue to lose.
And listen, let's say this. Mike McCoy is a repeater. He repeats everything. You can literally, he'll say, anytime he's asked about Cam, burning desire to be great. No joke. He's just said it every time. And then he's now, taking that to other people. That's his catchphrase. But the fact that that is the message, right? Because we do see this from time to time with all kinds of coaches. A coach will say something, and then you'll start hearing it echoed throughout the locker room, which means that everybody in the locker room was told that too. And I kind of like that Cam isn't cookie cutter, go with the flow kind of guy, because I think what he is saying is right. I agreed with his we asked statement. I agree with his statement right now. And I do agree, like you said, listen, winning in the NFL is hard. Winning a Super Bowl is hard. It ain't easy. It's the hardest thing, I think, in sports to do, because you only get one shot every week. Every week is an elimination game, it feels like, for the NFL. And so I get that it is hard to come by, but I also feel like that also lets you kind of relax a little. We finally got a win. You kind of we got one. Let's enjoy it for a couple of days. We got one.
But does he know something about what we don't know about the team is that happened when they won before. And they came out and had a stinker next.
Well, it's Arizona and Las Vegas this year, right? They won in Arizona, and it was a weird win, and they're all happy and celebrating, and then they drop a stinker to Las Vegas.
See?
And they have a habit of doing it.
So he has a little bit better gauge, and he didn't want to have another letdown, and so that's why he was kind of a little stoic here in his response. I don't know. That's why I said there's certain parts of it you have to be in the locker room to kind of really get a gauge and feel why he's saying what he's saying, even the head coach. But he's not really giving us anything.
Right. Can we hear the first bit of Cam Ward's press conference where he's asked about that mentality as well?
Winning and losing, they both got a price. They both got a price to pay. It just depends on which one you want to be a part of.
But you've talked consistently about how much winning means to you. Why Sunday did you seem not to feel differently than you felt after all the failed games?
Because there's a way to win games. There's a way to finish out games. There's a standard that you got to play with every game to give yourself the best, situation to win. The biggest thing, you got to expect to win every time you step on the field.
Did you feel like the team didn't play that standard, or you didn't play that standard in winning?
We played to a standard good enough to win. We didn't play to our best standard. At times of the game we were sloppy. Offensively, I was sloppy myself. Then defensively work. So we just got to continue to emphasize the good, and we got to be real quick on the bad.
And he later on says, if you want to be a good player, you can't be satisfied with doing bad things. The more you can limit the bad plays, you'll be a great player. Again, I agree with everything he's saying.
Man, I couldn't. I was looking for holes.
Yeah,
that was great. We didn't miss that part. That was really good.
Yeah, we caught the tail end because I remember him saying sloppy, but that was the very tail end. So, and I agree. I mean,
good question.
They played a good enough standard to win, but not the
Great
standard
answer
they want to
would
be.
Yeah, that was a great answer.
Great answer. And if I don't know what the reaction has been to that particular clip or anything, but I can't believe if you have something negative to say about that, that's kind of wild.
Yeah. It gave me chill bumps.
Yeah. I mean, that's what you want from your quarterback. That's what you want, not just from your quarterback.
Like that. Yeah.
You want that from every player on the roster.
They should be thinking very similar to him.
Yeah.
Very similar.
Because we do make fun of the Philadelphia Eagles and they were like the unhappiest 8-3 team at one time.
They're drama queens.
And they're drama queens. But that's also because everybody wants to be better. And now we're kind of seeing that like it's not getting better for them right now. But you want everybody in your locker room to latch on to that attitude, to latch on to that culture. Not everybody's going to be able to say it and execute it or this and that, but you want everybody to strive for what Cam Ward is laying out.
Yeah. I think they need to just go and let the man be who he is.
Let Cam be Cam. Yeah. I don't know if Cam can cook on the field, but let Cam be Cam at least in the locker room because that's what you're trying to build, right?
Leadership skills.
Yeah. You want more of the leadership skills. You want more of that kind of culture. You want that to be the standard. If you're a Titans fan, that's what you want. You want that standard in the locker room. And let me tell you something. Any coach worth their salt also wants that. Any GM and owner worth their salt also wants that attitude in there. Because that's not a destructive attitude or a bad attitude or a negative attitude. That's an attitude of this just ain't good enough.
So what do you think Arden Key was trying to accomplish?
I think he was just trying to take the air out of the room, or not take the air out of the room. I guess just lighten the mood. He's just that's who he is. Because I mean, you said earlier, and I agree. You have to have all kinds of different personalities, and we have seen that particular personality, show up for Arden Key. So I wouldn't take any offense to it, and I'm sure none of the players did either. I don't know if I would really do it in the way that he did it. I don't know, or that's just me. Because you're doing it, unfortunately, we all know this, but, he did it on a plane full of everybody on a PA system. And I wouldn't have done it that way. But that, again, is who he is. And probably everybody else knows Arden Key a lot better in that locker room than we do. And probably nothing really came from that in the locker room.
Right.
And that's just kind of how I view it.
It's all a nothing burger. But you got to try out the
much is.
But you got to try out the In-N-Out burger.
Yeah, we got to get the In-N-Out burger opened up in Murfreesboro and everywhere right now.
Yeah.
To get that animal style fries.
Jackson's in here telling me he can't wait.
He's making Joseph get him some.
So just have just one.
Yeah. All right, coming up next, we'll go to your phone, 615-737-1045. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 1045 The Zone. Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone. Powered by all Four Seasons Garage Doors. 615-737-1045 is the number. We were talking a little bit about the deep ball of Cam Ward and some of the issues. He was asked about some of the issues. But specifically, I think the first one to Chimere DK, where he has, I believe, a blitzing middle linebacker, may have been a safety, coming down on him. Mark Schlereth had said on the broadcast he should have stepped up into the throw. Do you think that's what he should have done? Do you think that may have been one of those moments? Because he even talks about Cam Ward, I need to stay in the pocket and have a willingness to stay in the pocket.
He didn't say willingness to take a hit.
Yeah. Listen, I mean, that guy was coming almost free range.
To be honest, yeah, I agree with Mark Schlereth. He's got to step into the throw. They replayed that over and over like 2 or 3 times. And come on, saying he's got to step into the throw and he's got to take the hit because you got to know it's going to be complete because the guy was open. I mean, like open for NFL stand. That was wide open. I mean, so, yeah, he needs to step on. He kind of did one of his flick the wrist, I'm a backpedal, and then soften the blow. And, you know, that was one that you couldn't unless you understand what your arm strength is and can get it there. So, yeah, those are the little things I think that Cam is kind of talking about without saying them. You know, he's got to step into the throw and take that shot. That's the only way it's done. And been, you know, that shows the toughness of the quarterback, but he also knows that hit won't feel as bad when that completion is done.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so, I mean, you know.
Is the touchdown to Chig, right? Or no, is the 60-yarder to Chig. It wasn't a touchdown, but that 60-yarder a few weeks ago, he was on the ground looking up, looking good. I mean, how many times have we seen a quarterback on their back saying, yes, you know, we got it?
Easy for us to say, to sit here, I've never been hit like a quarterback. I definitely try to hit some people like that, that's for sure. But never that was a big dude coming, and he could, I mean, just the pressure that you feel of that coming, and you know it. Oh man, that is that's you got to be a brave soul.
Yeah, he even says you got to get more for him to get more consistent on the deep ball. He's got to be more accurate with the football and throw it in their radius. And he talks about they rep it between individuals, sometimes after team segments. He goes, I'm not really frustrated by it, but he knows that he's got to be more accurate. And I think that's the case. I mean, sometimes it's dropped, sometimes it's him. But I think that it's one of those things, the deep ball, that I think I feel it's a little bit overrated in the terms of the full scope of the NFL quarterback play. What I mean by that is you're not going deep every play. Mm-hmm. So if you were going deep every play, it would be way more concerning. Mm-hmm. But the fact that we're talking about 12%, 13%, 9% of your dropbacks are going deep, 20 yards plus, I want him to get better at it, but I'm not as concerned about that as I am maybe like the throw on his interception where he's throwing to the receiver at the spot going across the field and not throwing with anticipation to the spot ahead of him where he can go make the play where he's streaking open.
Yeah.
And that's the plays that concern me more right now about Cam Ward.
You're going to do more of those throws than any. But, you know, you want to see some accuracy. Every now and then you see guys miss, you know, guys on deep balls, but very rarely. So, you know, here's something that's happened on occurrence, and we can all talk about, the weather and that, but Shedeur was throwing in that weather too. So, you know, you just got to be more accurate with the ball. I'm sure there's different reasons why, but when somebody's opening a National Football League, man, you got to hit them, and I mean in stride. That's a big difference in a guy having to slow down, turn around, catch the ball, and then catching it in stride. You saw Jerry Jeudy? That was in stride.
Yeah.
Nobody had a shot. As soon as he caught it, I said touchdown.
Yeah. I mean, it was something.
Yeah, I mean, when you hit a guy in stride like that and there was no safety in the hole, oh, man.
Yeah.
You knew it was a good night. And, you know, they kind of broke that one down, too. It was just funny. I'm going to Shedeur. Just looking at a little bit difference, just imagine if we had an elite receiver like that, like, you know, Ridley or somebody like that of that ilk, where he threw it to a spot and he ran there. And they were talking about where he was supposed to actually run a dig, and they both saw eye to eye that he was going to run upfield because there was no safety in the hole.
Yeah.
See, that's the things that we don't know. And so maybe some of these things are happening to Cam, and he's seeing it one way because he sees the defense, and the receiver may be right or wrong, but they got to be on the same page.
Yeah.
And to turn a good play into a great play.
Yeah.
So, you just never know. Nobody's going to ever tell you whose fault it actually was. But when it's deep and the guy's open and you miss him, it's nobody's fault but the quarterback.
Yep. And then some of this comes with reps. Some of this comes with experience. Some of this is because you got rookie throwing to rookies, right? I mean, like throwing to Jerry Jeudy is a little bit, who's on Darrell Baker is a little bit different than throwing to Chimere Dike, who's on Denzel Burke.
Yeah.
It's all a little bit different. That's not to make excuses, obviously, for Cam, but because there are throws where it's like, come on, Cam, you got to make that throw.
Yeah. Well, one thing it made me think about when I watched this game, and now it made me just kind of go back to number one picks over the last 5 years. Do you think, regardless of the talent on your team, Ross, that they should be able to carry the team?
I think
we can easily make these excuses.
Yeah.
Well, okay, now we could be 3 years down the road and still kind of use some of these same excuses.
I think that we've grown accustomed as an instant gratification society that I would say the majority of people think that way, that he should be instantly able to elevate the team. But I also think that the way that colleges are preparing these kids of all positions for the NFL, I think that's the wrong way to look at it. I do think it's going to take time. But those excuses do not matter in the third year. Those excuses to me really don't matter in the second year as much. Because you shouldn't be thrown to a bunch of rookie wide receivers. They should have already developed and all that kind of stuff. Like third year, I'm not in on excuse making anymore. Okay.
So let's
second year is kind of like 50-50.
Okay, we got Nick second year. Where's Bryce Young?
Bryce Young would be third year.
We got Daniels, who's been hurt most of the year.
Yeah. Caleb Williams. Yeah. And he went into a really great situation last year on paper.
Right.
And, I mean, obviously coaching kind of derailed maybe some of their success. But what's interesting is that,
we got some breaking news?
Breaking Vols news.
Uh-oh.
I know.
No warning, by the way. I got no warning.
Yeah, that's
what it's all about, man.
He just leg with me.
We don't usually do that on this show, but Tennessee is set to hire former Penn State and Ohio State defensive coordinator Jim Knowles as its next defensive coordinator per Chris Lowe.
There you go. We were talking about that off air. And actually, GoVols247.com had that number one name on their hot board.
Oh, so, Jim Knowles?
Yeah, Jim Knowles.
I don't know much about him. Do we know? Can you give us a little bit about where? I mean, you just said those two, but is there any connection? And maybe that's more of a,
yeah, I'll look on that.
Also, I need a little bit more of a warning because I have my headset up a little bit much and you about blew out my eardrums.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's
I'm good. I just adjusted.
Okay, so here's what I got for you on Jim Knowles because I still have
Is it connected anywhere to Hypo? That's what I wanted to know. Or is this just an outside the box hire for Hypo?
Well, let's read and find out together. The 60-year-old from Philadelphia made a big money, high-profile move from Ohio State to Penn State after the Buckeyes won the 2024 national championship, but things didn't go the way anyone associated with the Nittany Lions expected this season. Penn State lost to Oregon, then dropped 2 games as huge favorites before firing longtime head coach James Franklin. After a winding search, Penn State hired Iowa State coach Matt Campbell, expected to bring his longtime defensive coordinator John Heacock with him, making Knowles a coach free agent. Though the win column didn't reflect it, Penn State was 17th nationally in total defense, 9th in scoring defense, and Knowles has a track record of success dating back to his stints at Ohio State and Oklahoma State. There is something of a Tennessee connection here, too, with Knowles having worked for David Cutcliffe at Ole Miss in 2003 and Duke from 2010 to 2017. The Vols have also seemed to have a knack for Penn State coaches, having hired Bob Shoop and Tim Banks as their defensive coordinator. So nothing connected to Heupel in any of that, just some old Tennessee connections.
I wonder when he was at Oklahoma. Was Knowles at Oklahoma State?
He was Oklahoma State.
No, I know, but you play against them.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So there may be some. I don't know if they were there at the same time, but some familiarity. So man, how much is he getting paid?
That would be the next question.
Because he had to be one of the highest paid there at Penn State.
Well, and you're going to Tennessee as well, so you would expect to be making a pretty penny.
When he was at Oklahoma State, Heupel was at UCF.
Oh, okay.
The whole time.
Got you. Well,
so there you go.
So this is
Jim Knowles, Penn State defensive coordinator, former Penn State defensive coordinator, now current University of Tennessee defensive
I don't
coordinator.
know much about Penn State's defense. I know they had some good players.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, Abdul Carter.
Oh, Abdul
Well,
Carter.
that was the year before, so that would not count for this year because
Why
this
is
is
it?
his 1 year.
Yeah, Winston Jr.
Yeah. No, that was last year when he was at Ohio State. So he was the Ohio State defensive coordinator last year.
Man, we got no connect.
So no connection. But Ohio State's defense was pretty good last year. So
Penn State's always got dudes on defense.
Yeah.
They may not have like that elite dude this year, but they've always got
Right.
dudes.
So, well, reason why I bring that up, Tennessee does not have a lot of elite dudes right now at this point in time.
Well, they're about to be gone.
Right.
The ones they
That's what I'm
got,
getting
yeah.
at. So how much are you really a good coach, or do you have just the dudes?
We might be about. We're going to find out, I guess.
See, that's what I'm getting at. I mean, that's where someone taught me, and I really was like, really? Okay, do you want a guy in college that's coaching? Do you want him to have more skill at recruiting or coaching? I mean, developing. And I paused and I said, well, I want my guys to be able to develop. I assume you're able to recruit. They said, oh, no, you want them to be able to recruit.
yeah, that's what I was about to say. I think
I was like,
recruit.
whoa. So that means you just win with the better players. How much coaching is going on?
Well, that's why some of these players get in the NFL, and
that's what I'm getting at.
which goes back to what we've been talking about Cam and all them.
And
but
then
like
it goes
that's
to their
the point.
personal trainer and all of that.
Yeah,
because that's where everybody's going. So I don't know if you're getting a phenomenal talent who's just better than the other guy.
Right.
Well, in the NFL, everybody's good.
And everybody's better than most of the rookies coming in. Because I mean, you can look at Abdul Carter's not having the season everybody expected him to have, production wise on the stat sheet. And I mean, how many offensive linemen does it take? It may take 3 years for some offensive linemen to start showing flashes.
Well, I guess ideally with defensive coordinators now, it's more like these trainers and your assistant coaches are more developing these guys. You are responsible for putting them in the proper position to be able to make plays and show off their talent, and plays a defense, obviously. But he's gonna have a lot of pieces to work with. There's some younger guys that have obviously played on this Tennessee defense this year. You think of Ty Redmond at corner. I mean, he got thrown into the fire right away, so he's got some pieces to work with.
Oh yeah,
it'll be interesting to see because I feel the same way I feel about Denard Wilson that I did about Tim Banks. Is that I thought he was a pretty good cook with his ingredients that he had this year.
This year, man.
And I'm interested to see what Jim Knowles does that's so drastically different than what Tim Banks does. Because if it's just more of the same because he's got the same level of talent, well, he didn't really do anything to change anything. Now, I don't think that Tim Banks was that bad that he needed to be fired, but I understand that there were years before last year that people did not like Tim Banks and didn't think he was that good, but I thought he was getting better every year. That's just me.
Yeah, I pretty much agree.
But
with
very
that.
good hire. I mean, and with all things considered.
I mean, Penn State, Ohio State on the resume.
Yep.
It seems as though this is a great hire.
Yeah.
Man, this is a good hire, great hire. We'll see.
But going back to our talk about the expectations of a rookie quarterback to elevate everything around them.
To carry the team.
I think that's tough to do now. I just think that's I understand why at a time that was the correct way to look at it, because you could say that about Ben Roethlisberger, Phillip Rivers, Eli Manning, those guys, that kind of got drafted, kind of carried them right to be. I mean, obviously Andrew Luck, a generational quarterback prospect.
But why do you think that's not right?
I think it's just the state of the college football world has changed, and most of these guys aren't walking into good situations. Because I will say this: as much as we can say that Andrew Luck was the first overall pick. Well, he was the first overall pick because of like Jim Sorgi and Curtis Painter were playing at the time, not because the entire team was in disarray. Most of the time now, the entire team is in disarray for the most part. And so I think it's a mixture of what's going on in college and the college development for all players, but specifically in this conversation, the quarterback and the situation you're walking into typically is not a good situation.
What do you think, bro?
I was going to kind of go off Zach's about the team being in disarray. I hate when we use the greatest team sport that's ever been, on this world in football, and we just try to dumb it down to just one person is responsible for everything. Now, one player can have a huge impact on the game. Obviously, a quarterback touches the ball on every play on offense. He can have a big impact. But when we try to limit the changing of a franchise to just one player, even if it is a quarterback, I just can't get behind that. And so to put that all on a rookie's shoulders, this ain't basketball where there's 10 dudes on the court that play both ways. This is football. There's 22 dudes on a field, 53 on a roster, and you play one position. I mean, how can you expect someone to come into a situation like the Titans this year, or the Browns usually, Jets, whatever it may be, and change the whole franchise as a rookie?
Yeah, I completely agree with you guys. That's why I asked elevate, because how does that happen in this team culture environment? Is it because they think that now all these quarterbacks are much more developed in understanding what they're supposed to do and process, but is the college game the same as the pro game? And that's where I think the rubber meets the road. I think they're much more developed. You know why? 7-on-7. That didn't even exist when I played. So they're getting to throw the ball all off season, getting to compete, understand defense and everything. So it's about the no huddle, the processing, calling offensive protections, changing plays, understanding.
Taking more snaps under center.
Right. See, so that's the process I think that is lagging for them, not necessarily them as quarterbacks.
Well,
I get what you're saying.
Which affects them.
Yeah.
So then to try to go in and say a guy can come in and elevate your whole roster in 1 year and you don't have the pieces already there?
Well, I mean, think about the Texans. They were able to trade away Deshaun Watson and have 2 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks that are all in the top 45 of one draft.
And they did.
And then they were able to have 2 first-round picks the following year where they were able to get C.J. Stroud and Will Anderson. C.J. Stroud was coming into a situation where they already had a number 1 wide receiver on the rise in Nico Collins, which they drafted in the 3rd round, but you saw the trajectory of Nico Collins. And then
based off his contract he got.
Right.
Yeah.
And what they also do, they went and got Dalton Schultz in free agency, Noah Brown as a wide receiver. They knew they were drafting a quarterback, and they planned accordingly, and he walked into a pretty good situation with a new head coach and a new offensive coordinator. Whereas and
they had tackles.
And they had tackles at Laramie Tunsil, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, the situation was a lot better, and the coaching situation was better too. So every situation to me is different. And I think trying to say, even look at Caleb Williams. With Caleb Williams, 63.5% completion percentage last year. Well, he's down in under 60 this year with Ben Johnson, but they're winning because they're scoring points. Like, completion percentages and everything either. Like all this, and a data guy here saying that, but like all this
Did you
stuff.
ever think you would ever say that?
Probably not.
I don't think you
Probably not. But I think when you start getting into all, it says a lot about what I've learned on this show is that, like, I think when it comes down to it is that you can't look at every situation the same. And I hate the people that go and say, that have to use Bill Parcells as a head coaching example. Like, there are good head coaching examples here in this era that you can use. If you have to go to Bill Parcells to make a point, that's probably not the point you need to be making right now, because this Bill Parcells era of football, while there are some just absolute truths of football that carry in over year after year, era after era, this is an entirely different era of football. And I think we're entering into another different type of era of football where your instant impact players, unless they are the elite of the elite, are going to take time to develop.
Well, it's funny, too. I mean, we could get into a big discussion about this. We don't need to. But when you brought up 7v7 for quarterbacks, 7-on-7 is, when it's done right, can be a very helpful tool for development. But the problem is nobody's doing it right. It's turned into a circus like AU basketball where guys are just playing it for external purposes other than like becoming a better football player.
Development, and you can see some form of coverages and you get rid of the ball, but you're not running the ball, you're not under center, you're not doing any of those things that kind of embody what the NFL is going to be. And you're doing no huddle. I mean, like, all the time.
And they want you to do
Cam likes no huddle, because guess what? He has full control, and we just throw him around. It's like 7-on-7.
Well, and they're also, forcing these guys into a lot of progression reads where maybe they need to be doing coverage reads. And I think that's another issue is that I don't know which one is more difficult or harder or easier because every quarterback's a little bit different, but are you putting your quarterback in the best position to succeed, not just roster-wise, but in your training, your drills, your practices, and all that kind of stuff. And on game day, is your game plan suited to take advantage of the best way and maximize your quarterback? Those are stuff that we don't necessarily know behind the scenes, but that's why you often see quarterbacks get better and change when there's a new coach added to the mix, at least your top tier quarterbacks. Like I just say, Caleb Williams' completion percentage is worse, but the overall function of the offense is better. And sometimes that's all you need is, to me, that's what kind of why I'm like prematurely right now, big Jeremiah Love fan, because I'm like, he changes and helps Cam Ward just as much as anybody else in this draft.
No, so you saying the running back on the team can't Pollard?
I think he can do it. I'm always looking for the best player available, and I think that Jeremiah Love may be the best player available if they continue winning.
That is a true statement, but is that the number one priority?
I don't know.
In this draft for you? I don't know. Are they taking the best player in the draft?
Yeah, they may be go drafting out of need. We don't know. We will see.
But he is something to love.
Oh yeah, that love. Love
Island. He is special, boy.
Ooh, Love Island. I like that
love
one.
That. Sometimes I just dream we could have some great players.
That draft good players. That's a simple philosophy. I don't know why people overthink
some
it.
Really good running backs.
Yeah.
The history tells you.
That's what I'm saying.
So maybe you're on to something.
Yeah, because they drafted all the good running backs. Tony Pollard was signed. So I'm just saying. Tony Pollard's the DeMarco Murray. You know,
we have the best running backs in the history of the National Football League.
I think hands down.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, coming up next, we'll go to Kel, who's been waiting patiently. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone.
Hey.
Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone, powered by all Four Seasons Garage Door. It's the last call for phone calls. 615-737-1045 is the number. We got a special treat. We haven't heard from him since Vandy won against the University of Tennessee, but we got our old friend Kel. For those that may not remember, Kel was on a couple of weeks ago. He's also on 3HL as well, talking about how he's a UT fan that went and spent money and was rooting for Vandy to beat University of Tennessee and bought a Vandy hat. So, Kel, how you feeling? Are you feeling like you made the right decision by going and spending that money?
Well, let me tell you, man, I'm wearing my Vandy hat right now, and it's at the bookstore. It cost me $38, and it is a camo Vandy. It's probably the coolest hat I've ever bought. And now, of course, I drive around with my luxury transport right here in downtown Nashville, and the kids, they seem to, the Vandy kids didn't tip before I started wearing the Vandy hat. So it was a monetary thing for me for sure. And it worked. Yes, it did. And, I'm feeling pretty good, but I'm not feeling good about them not getting in. And, Mendoza's going to win the Heisman over Pavia, probably. I'm not saying it's impossible. But, man, Vandy, what a heck of a season. Go Boys, man. And Clark, 6 years. I mean, I wasn't smart enough to get into Vandy. I was smart enough to get into UT, and I had a hell of a time at UT. But to be the homer UT guy growing up in Nashville, I just like, you know what? I need to change because my mama was ripping me apart like, you can cheer for Vandy too. You grew up a Vandy fan. I was like, Mom, I get it. I'm buying a Vandy hat. I'm doing it. So, yeah, everything's good with me, man. Thank you for asking.
No problem. Did you have another question, or did you just want to call and chat?
Yeah, I just wanted to say something about Cam Ward. I mean, I'm calling him about the Titans.
Let's do it.
I think that Cam Ward was raised right. I think he's a dog. I think he's a grown man. I think he's like a Blaine Bishop. He's like a Steve McNair. I think that Steve got a couple years to fill in, and then Steve took us to the Super Bowl, to the promised land. But Cam, it was raised right. He says all the right stuff. Oh, by the way, Merry Christmas, guys, too, because I just bought all my stamps for all my Christmas cards. So you should be thinking about Christmas for all your family right now, too. But, yeah, $31 in stamps for 40 stamps. Okay. It's a little expensive. But what I'm saying is that 'tis the season to be Cam Ward because this is his team. He's got an interim head coach. They threw him into the fire. He is durable. He is getting pressured every time. You're talking about long throws and all that stuff. He's a rookie. And he still comes into the interviews and says, oh, I can play better. I can do this. I can do that. But Cam Ward is building the culture of the Titans. And he's got a backup quarterback if we don't release him next year that probably will come on board for a couple of years. We got a hell of a backup quarterback in Will Levis. Titans are building something special. Did I want them to lose? Yes. Did I want to call Cam and tell him to lose? Because he would have said, Shinola, F you, Kel, I'm going to win. That's my mentality. I think that Cam Ward is the only person that we've got as a Titans franchise that is building the culture right now. And I applaud him for being a man. He was raised right. I guess that's all I got to say. But go Vandy and go Vols. But why did Ramon take Ron a Commodore hat down to Toy Field yesterday? What's up with that? My name was mentioned 42 times last week on the radio show. 42 times. I counted. I watched those. Well, I was like, that's 40. That's 41. That's 42. And then Ron won't even answer me back on Instagram about that. I might have to call into that show. I got a problem. Right?
I think you should call today.
Listen, call in under a different name, though, Kel. I mean, that would be my advice to you. They may not answer it if they know it's you. So call in under a different name. Then you can surprise them that hey, I'm Kel, and I just want to say. There was a lot to unpack there.
Oh, my.
But I do agree with his statements about Cam Ward. And listen, I do agree that if it's going to lead to him to have more tips because he's wearing a Vandy hat, good investment on him.
Oh, my. You said Camel. Oh, my.
I saw some, I know this is off topic, I saw some Phillip Rivers practice footage that they got today.
How's he looking?
Looking all right, man.
Throwing dimes, wasn't he?
He's zipping
Throwing
it.
dimes. You know it was because there's no rush out there.
Of course, they only got, some individual period stuff because of the practice footage rules for teams, but that arm's still working.
There you go. There you go. But I do agree that now I will include a couple of other guys in it, like Big Jeff and stuff. I don't think it's just Cam, but I do think there are a couple of guys that are that are going to be here next year that are going to make building the culture the head coach wants probably a little bit easier and a little bit more accelerated. Because I'm really digging what I've heard from Big Jeff from a leadership perspective more often than not than I have in the past.
No doubt.
And the way he's playing, woo, buddy. He is playing out of this world right now. Big Jeff.
Would you give up 2 first-round picks?
For Big Jeff?
Yeah. 2 first-round picks.
I would. If I was the Tennessee Titans, give it to me. I ain't gonna lie.
Ross said
everybody
no.
has a
You can turn
price.
on your mic and you're
gonna turn off.
They can't hear your head shaking.
You're gonna turn down 2 first-round picks.
You would do it.
I ain't doing it.
I would do it.
I ain't
would
doing
have
it.
to seriously think about that.
Yeah.
I would be so nervous I'd have to go to the bathroom.
You'd have to really take a second on that one, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Man, I would. Oh, man, that would be. Oh,
I mean, 2 firsts. I mean, even if it's both in 2026 or maybe one in 2026 and one in 2027, which is the better draft, I'd have to seriously consider it.
Oh, well, of course, yeah.
Yeah, I'd have to seriously consider I'd probably take it. Because he's due for an extension soon, so you got to pay that extra little bit of money too, which I do think he is proven that he is going to be worth whatever, more than likely whatever extension they got. All right, that will do it for us. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone. 3HL's up next. They're live from Fozzie's down in Cool Springs. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone. And in the meantime.
And in between time, peace.